Hey, soul fam, my name is Miradee, and I'm actually here today to talk to you guys about a recent video that I saw by Kyle Cease. And so the thing is that I first off want to say that I respect Kyle Cease as a healer, as a leader. I think he's doing great things in the world, to some degree. However, I do think that there is a little bit of, and this is going to happen because we are humans, okay? This is going to happen because we're humans and we have all these different perspectives. We're all in these different spaces of learning ourselves and learning the spiritual world and learning how to walk and lead in this world. Okay, so that's the first thing that I want to say about this altogether. Now, what I do want to offer you is that, or what I just do want to say straight up, like I'm not here to offer anything. I'm here to just say that it is important for us to be conscious of who our sexual partners are and why we are choosing them. So in a recent short from Kyle Cease, I saw that he said that you can have sex with anybody, as long as they're of a consensual age, it doesn't matter, you can have sex with anybody you want to have, and basically that this is going to upset some people and that some people it would set some people free. Now, the problem with this is that we have to be aware of all of the aspects of what sexuality entails, right? So it encompasses the aspects of energetics, the aspects of spirituality, the physical aspects, as well as some of the more childhood and traumatic aspects of our lives. Why are we choosing the partners that we're choosing? How do we feel and how does our life progress as we're connecting to these partners, as we're starting to involve ourselves in their lives and things like that? Do they have similar goals and values? Is this perpetuating some story that you have within yourself or whatnot about your value or your worth? Or is this really rooted in your true actual want and need? So these are very important things to consider if we don't want to re-traumatize ourselves, if we don't want to push ourselves deeper into our trauma. Now, understand that there are certain places of awareness and stuff like that where we can start to uncover these things naturally. I absolutely get that. But if you're aware enough to understand what I'm saying in this video and to really get it, then it is important that we make these conscious choices and that we put to others, especially with the type of power that someone like Kyle Cease has and whatnot, and the type of influence that he has on people who are vulnerable, people who are looking for answers, people who are opening themselves up to this new world. It's very important that us as spiritual leaders, as thought leaders, as people who are ushering in the new, it's very important that we check in with ourselves and start to show you guys a very good example of a very good and true to the truth, true to the source example. Okay, so what I would like to say though too is that in choosing a sexual partner, when we're having sex with somebody, we're not only, again, sharing these little things, we're sharing the big things too. And so we have to check in with ourselves and ask ourselves, what is the reason for this? So when we share energy with someone who is not going anywhere in life, who is not on the same level, someone who drinks and does drugs or something like that all the time or whatnot, and we're bettering ourselves and we're healing ourselves, we may as well have not even done that work or whatnot if we're going to put that person's energy back into our space. Now, this isn't like brushing auras with somebody or giving somebody a hug and then transferring energy. This is the most divine and sacred act of union. In any type of religious text, you know that it's said that consummating a marriage is through the sexual union, because the sexual union actually represents our journey and our trip back to God, right? And so when you're with somebody who has an open heart space or somebody that has an open, an open connection to that divine, then you're going to experience levels of sexuality that you've never, ever been able to experience before, right? And so but what happens is if you have all those things in alignment and then somebody else doesn't have those things in alignment, they're going to try to, just by the nature of energy and by the nature of how things work, they're going to try to pull away from the things that you have healed. So say for instance, somebody has a really hardened heart because of things they've been through in life, or maybe they just are a person that has a hardened heart, period, and then you go in with an open heart or whatnot. the energy that wants to free itself, the energy that wants to clear itself up is going to try to go through your heart space, and you're going to be stuck processing that energy for somebody. However, it may not be healing if they're not in a place where they're attempting to move it. Do you get what I'm saying? And so now you might look around your life and recognize that you're feeling a certain way, that maybe you were moving towards some stuff and things start to kind of fall off. Now things aren't going as smoothly and synchronistically as they were before, because now you've taken on the energy of somebody else's vibration, And so while it's easy for people to get so dismissive of and to get so annoyed by like the trendy spiritual community, it's important that we recognize that there are some truths in what has been distorted. So while the trendy spiritual community is very much like, like you have to be positive all the time. You have to if you're going through bad things, it means that you're doing something wrong. Like, I don't have any problems in my life. That is an extreme and amplified version of, is blown out of proportion version of what is actually happening. But we do have to acknowledge the truth in there. Okay. And so what I'm saying is that it can become very easy for healers to become so, what's the word for pushing against? Like, to become so resistant to that because of that. For instance, I'm an empath, an actual empath. And for the longest time, I was diagnosed with all these different things and bipolar and all these things and these different sensitivities and stuff. But what was happening is that because of the way the trendy spiritual community has presented the empath, everybody's an empath and, oh no, I feel what you're feeling because I'm empathetic. That type of stuff turned me off to spirituality in that way. And so I denied something that was very, very important to my existence or whatnot, because I was turned off by the spiritual community and the trendy spiritual aspect of it. But what I had to realize is that there is a such thing as being an empath. There is a such thing as empathy, right? And there are people who can actually feel other people's stuff and who take it on. And once I was able to get in touch with that aspect of myself, I was able to fully, really embrace who I am and to recognize that what I had was not bipolar. It was, or these sensitivities, they weren't disorders, that this is just how I'm built to perceive the world, right? And so by denying that, and then again by denying the truth of sexuality, the whole truth of it, we can mislead people and we can lead people astray, because then at that point it's important for us, us as leaders, to look into our own trauma and how we might be projecting dogmatic things into the community. And maybe it's by good intention or whatnot, but we might be also projecting dogmatic things into the community or whatnot because of our own unconscious traumas and things like that, okay? Or unconscious, resistances to certain things. So we must always check in with ourselves and go into our heart space and ask these things. So, I mean, if anybody's looking for, assistance or guidance or anything like that, or just want to simply have a conversation about your own, life and the trajectory of it and your own sexual decisions and how to kind of balance the two, balance what Kyle said, and then also bring balance into what I'm speaking and what you also feel, and we can start to work through things like that. And I just think it's important that we have many perspectives out here, and I think it's important that we are in touch with the whole so that we can make a decision that is fully, truly encompassing the all that is the God, the divine that is within us, and live out the life without hindering ourselves further, in a way that flows with us, that fits naturally, and that respects who we truly are. All right, I'm Mira D. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, peace.